or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds, episode 273. We are recording on the last, I guess it's tomorrow, 31st, so I guess it'll be almost the last day of July 30th, 2014. I just, stopped going in the middle of talking and started the show, so...
Like you always do.
I know, just completely interrupt us. We were having, one of the deepest conversations anyone has ever heard, and you just ruined it.
I did. I'm sorry.
We can't pick it up. It's lost. It's just gone.
We tried to have a little show prep, and we had none.
I know, we had no show prep because we all got out at 11:03.
You're the reason we're so unprepared all the time.
Got on at 11:03.
Stop.
I'm sorry. I was just so eager to do the show. I'm so happy to be here.
Bitch.
Does somebody want to share it out to the Facebook crowd? Let people know we're here.
So a couple things going on.
Yeah.
Two tornado stories.
Yeah, I saw that you were under tornado watch.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. I'll try to make it real quick. Mondays are kind of a quiet day for me. It's running errands, going to the bank, things like that. Okay, that's what Mondays are for me. So I can kind of get up, have my coffee, walk the dog, take my time getting things done because I'm really preparing for the rest of the week on Monday. It's not a big day. So I get up, have my coffee, and I look at the dog. It's like, all right, Tawny, we'll go for a walk before it starts to rain. They're talking about a big storm coming. As soon as I finish my coffee, it starts to rain. All right, well, it didn't quite make the walk. We'll have to do it later. I get on Facebook about 9:30, and everybody's chitter-chatting about this storm and how it's coming in. So I turn on the TV and I turn on the Boston station. We get, 3 major Boston stations, and they're all tornado warning, tornado watch on the East Coast, north of Boston, central, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really weird. So they all went to commercial for some reason. I switched over to the New England Cable News, which is the regional, network. It's not the local Boston station. It's definitely the region. It goes from Connecticut all the way up to Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire. Okay, it's a big one. The weather guy, the lead story, is okay, we're following a tornado watch in Massachusetts. Let me zoom in. North of Boston. Let me zoom in. Specifically on this town.
It's your town.
In the north part of this, let me zoom in.
Which is where you live.
And it's there was my street. On right
Jesus.
at the edge of the red. And I'm like, this is insane. This is my street on the regional news, not the local news. This is regional. This is all
the big
over.
News. Yeah.
And I've never seen them zoom in that much. And so they scrolled down a bit and they went across town, basically over my uncle's house who lives across town. He's like, see this little indentation? This is where the winds are going to start spinning. And then they scroll back up to my street or to the end of my street. When I walk the dog, if I go out to the end of my street, that's the street they were talking about. And it says, if you're on this street, this is the potential path. I would suggest getting in the cellar right now. You talk about totally getting freaked out. Picture watching the regional news and having them say, yeah, if you live on this street, you need to get in the cellar right now. And I'm like,
yeah, I'd be kind of freaking out.
Yeah. So I was like, what do I do with that? So I ended up opening the front door, and on the left, it was kind of a cloudy day, and on the right, dark sky, so I could see the exact line he was talking about with this storm. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to panic just yet, but I want to keep an eye on it. But just seeing your street on the news, on the Weather Channel for a potential tornado path is something we just don't have here. Snow, fine. Tornadoes, no. And about 15 minutes later, he says, oh, we just got word in, things changed, and there's going to be no, the tornado's not going to hit where we thought it was. It's died down, whatever pressurized thing was going on. So I was like, oh, wow, good. So we're not gonna have the tornado up here. And I got to relax a little bit. And then about 45 minutes later, they said one had touched down in a city called Revere. And Revere is where Boston Logan Airport is.
Right.
Okay. So that's where you guys fly in for PAX, is in the city called Revere. Now, Revere, I think that was more on the coast, and the tornado hit a little bit inland.
Mm-hmm.
And it only hit for like 6 minutes, but I guess it wrecked a lot of businesses and houses. Luckily, nobody got killed, but it was bad. They said it was I don't know if it was EF2 or EF Hutton, or I don't know what it was, but they said it was like 120-mile winds for a little bit.
Wow.
Wreck your day. So it did hit down, and they did have it on the news. And it was weird because it had hit while they were talking about it up in my town. And it took them 45 minutes to realize what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it did hit. It was I think it was the next town over from Kowloon. That's how close it was.
Yeah.
So it was pretty close. But what I did take when it didn't hit up here, because the path that it was going, that street they were talking about is the street China Jade's on. So imagine a tornado ripping apart China Jade.
Yeah.
What would happen to my life?
So we're getting some notifications in the chat room that the intro on this show said live from PAX East 2013.
Yeah, that's where we are.
No.
You're in the PAX East category. That's why.
Yeah, I started it on the wrong. We have two shows, and one was the PAX East. When we first started this whole Spreaker thing, we had a PAX East show, and then we had the regular GameHounds show. I should have just done it all together, but I wanted to keep it separate for some dumb reason, because I'm a girl and I like putting things in little categories and boxes. And I guess I started the show in the wrong category. That's never happened before. So, sorry. So if you're confused by the intro about live from PAX East, yeah, that's me screwing up. So we're here. It's not PAX East 2013. It is July 2014, and this is a regular GameHound show. Everybody in the chat room is making fun of you, Goalie, saying that let's see. Kevin Bulware says we in New Orleans laugh at your wind stories. Jaeger says, the sky is falling and I want my mommy. Pretty much, yeah. That's the thing about weather in the United States. If you're listening from Europe, U.S. is so big that people will actually make fun of each other for complaining about their own weather. It's kind of becomes like that my dick's bigger than your dick kind of competition.
But you know what I never understood about that, especially when it comes to tornadoes, is that tornadoes are like a very genuine, constant, yearly threat for
right.
people like in the Midwest. They might make fun of like, oh, California, you got earthquakes. I can't fucking remember the last time there was an earthquake here. And the last time there was like a big one
I can't.
was like when I was a fucking baby.
Yeah, you were pretty young.
It's like, oh, yeah, our house gets destroyed every year, but you got to deal with earthquakes.
Right.
No, I don't.
Right.
Why would you live someplace
we
like
have
that?
golf ball size hail. What? And you live there out of choice?
What?
You
Why?
can actually move away and you choose to live where there's golf ball size hail that could fuck. Have you ever seen a car that's been hit by golf ball size hail?
Yeah.
I had a neighbor that moved from, I forget where, but it's like they moved into the neighborhood and they had a little Isuzu SUV that had license plates from somewhere else, and the whole top of that car was fucked up, like somebody had taken a golf club to it. And I thought to myself, and that's why they left. We do not have golf ball size hail. Occasionally, very occasionally, like maybe once every 10 years, we'll have pea size hail, and that's it. Hail is fun.
There's no place in the United States. Well, I shouldn't say there's no place, but I mean, everybody has their thing. I mean, some people get the snow and the ice. Some people get the heat. Some people get the floods. Some people get the tornadoes. Some people get the earthquakes. You know, everybody has their natural.
I will take an earthquake over anything else you got to offer. Anything else. Tornadoes, hurricanes, all that. Fuck that. Earthquakes. Once every 50 or 60 years, you have to worry about it. And the rest of the time, the ground just kind of settles underneath you, and it's like, okay, earthquake. No big thing.
Yep.
And you know what? Actually, I shouldn't say that. Because our housing prices are already bad enough. So here's what I'm going to say. Earthquakes are terrible. You should never move here. Everybody dies all the time. Oh my God. It's amazing that we're even standing. don't.
No. See,
don't
it's
come.
fine if they come here and they drive up the housing prices because there'll be an earthquake that will destroy everything and the housing prices will go back down. It's the natural boom and bust economy.
Except our bust is an earthquake.
Yes.
That's true. I mean, you could get lots in the Marina District in San Francisco in the late 90s, early 90s and late 80s pretty cheap. Actually, you couldn't. The lots where the houses were destroyed in the Marina were more expensive than houses everywhere else. So anyway, by the way, if I start sneezing or make weird sounds, it's because I'm having a really bad allergy attack. So... I've taken
we
the
don't have allergies over here, so
yeah, I've gotten my allergies are way worse than your allergies.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to share that story because that's the first time I've really been you know, when you see it on the news, it's just weird. It's like if there's a meteor falling from the sky and they zoom in, it's projected to hit here. Yeah, you know, if I hit someplace else, fine. You know,
right.
When they got it on your house, it's
right.
like, whoa.
It's like, oh, it's here. Oh, now it's important.
Yeah, it was just like we never had that up here. Like I said, we get threats all the time, but
yeah.
they said that was the first recorded tornado in this area. Now Worcester, which is the central part
Worcester?
It's Worcester. Worcester gets them a lot. In fact, they got a baseball team named the Tornadoes, named after a bad tornado that hit there a long time ago. But
I guess we have the earthquakes, the San Jose earthquake, so I guess I can't really make fun of that.
Cucamonga Quakes. That's the minor league baseball team up there.
Mm-hmm.
But they said it's the first one they've recorded here since they started recording tornadoes.
Yeah.
So what's happened? 70, 80 years, 100 years, whatever it was. It's the first one that touched down here on the East Coast. We've had hurricanes and the whole bit, but never a tornado. And it's just so odd. That's what it is. It's like you guys getting a blizzard. It's like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
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 So anyway.
So Kevin Boulware, I have to take Kevin Boulware in the chat room to task here. He said once every 50 or 60 years you lose everything you own in a horrible earthquake, no big deal. No! No, that's not how it happens. Seriously, not how it happens. It's like a tornado. It hits certain areas and it fucks up some areas. And no, you don't lose everything you own.
Everything just falls off the shelf.
It's
so goddamn annoying. You may as well just get rid of it at that point.
Well, I remember you guys had one and
pick it up, put it back.
It showed the traffic on the news as far as you guys trying to travel. It was like, forget it.
Oh, us?
Yeah. I don't know what.
Well, that is our natural disaster is pretty much traffic. Pretty much traffic. All day long. See, if you're going to complain about California, don't complain about the earthquake. Complain about the traffic. Because the traffic that wherever you are, with the exception of New York City, and even in New York City, and I'm talking Manhattan, New York, the traffic in California is your traffic times 10, and that's on a Saturday afternoon. Unless you're traveling at, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, that's the traffic you deal with. Like, Goalie won't come into the city and goes, I don't want to come in to see you at PAX East because the traffic's horrible. I've been in that traffic. That's what I commute in every day. That's everywhere you go around a major city. That's what traffic is like all the time, with the exception of the middle of the night. All the time.
Screw that.
Yep. So anyway, Corey Wallace is already giving a hard time about Last of Us, so you might as well launch into it because you fucking hated it. Oh my god! Like instantaneously, you were on social media just screaming about it.
Here's the second tornado. Okay, you guys have known me a while, right?
Right.
Okay, you guys have known me, right? Yeah. We've all slept in the same room, right?
We're BFFs. We know each other by the smell of our farts.
We've
yes.
Gamed together for many years. We've shot guns.
Yes.
Together.
Well, two of us have, yeah.
We've gotten blitzy drunk and recorded podcasts on both coasts.
Wait, hold on a second. Just as a side note, has Nick ever been blitzy drunk around us?
I think he was in Huntington Beach.
Maybe. I don't change much when I'm blitzy drunk.
You were a little shitty in Huntington Beach, I think.
Was he? I can't remember.
I think so.
All right. So anyway, yes, we have been silly, sloppy drunk. Yes,
yeah,
we are buds. We're bros.
So we know each other. So you guys know when I say in the first couple of minutes, I can tell if I'm going to like a game. I said that. You guys know that about me.
Right, and I also know you, to be honest, you have been wrong.
I have. There's been a few
Borderlands
games.
you hated. You hated. You despised Borderlands.
Borderlands 1.
Borderlands 2 you despised.
No, we had a hard time getting off because we couldn't find the ammo. When you come in and showed us how to get
ammo, then it changed. Exactly.
Yeah. And then when we got our first power-up and we could throw the enemy in the air, then we didn't know how to do that either.
Right, but you were pretty pissed off about that game at the very beginning.
Well, I didn't like 1. So when I went into 2, I was like, oh, here's more of 1 that I didn't like. Okay? Gears of War is another one I did not care for. Mm-hmm. And then finally I came around. So anyway, usually I could tell right off the bat I'm going to like a game. Okay, Destiny beta. Went into that, played that, no issues. Fun, easy, didn't have to change a thing. It was just pick up and go. Okay, Sniper Elite 3, pick up and go. Even Diablo 3 took a little while to get used to the over-the-top, view of that. Piece of cake after a few minutes. Okay, all these games, bam, 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 right down the line, no problem. Okay, this game here, The Last of Us, remastered on PS4. The first part when you got to go into the restaurant. It's like the first opening scene is a car accident. You carry a kid somewhere or whatever. It's just like the opening scene, Mm-hmm. Did all that without no problem. In fact, we did that on the PS3. We were over a friend's house about 6 months ago when I actually played this for the first time. And me and Mrs. Goalie were sharing the controller playing this game. I was like, okay, we got to that part, no problem. So I knew that part of the game. So I did that, no problem. Then once the game actually starts, I was moving around, and it felt like my guy was falling on ice because I'd be walking. Next thing you know, the camera's up in the sky or the camera's down at my feet, and I'm just playing this like I play a normal game, not doing anything crazy, and I could not control this game. It was so bad. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What are they doing with these controls that I can't play this game? And so I went into the settings, and I was like turning down the sensitivity. I was doing the inverting controls. I must have spent a half hour friggin' with the controls of this game. And I'm like, why do I need to spend a half hour friggin' with the controls of your game?
Now let's take a stop just for a moment, just a little break. Nick, do you remember any of the controls being particularly weird on this game?
No, I mean, maybe it's because I played Uncharted, but I feel like it plays like Uncharted.
Right, and I don't particularly remember this.
Uncharted.
And I'm wondering if this might be the conversion, the PS3 conversion.
I don't know because they have.
No, I don't think so.
All these inverted controls, like you can change the shooting from L1 to L2 and vice versa.
So, like, if the inversion is a problem, there has to be an option to undo that because there's always an option.
Yeah, you can go in there. You can even change it to 30 frames instead of 60, which I did. Nothing worked. It was just, I literally spent a half hour and I didn't even get out of the first area. I just was walking around, and then when I finally had to go shoot somebody, it was like Grand Theft Auto 5. Remember the first scene in Grand Theft Auto 5? You come out of the bank and all the cops are there and you got to fight them and get away. And remember I told you I couldn't even do that? I failed miserably at that, and that's the first scene of the game. And I said, oh, boy, if I can't get through the first scene of the game.
I will say this, that the very first firefight you get into, and I remember being kind of, I'm having to remember back, in kind of a ditch, and that you have to kind of come around a corner off to your left, and then there are guys there, and trying to deal with them. I had a little bit of a hard time doing that. Did you turn down the game to like puss mode? To easy?
Oh, it's on easy. Yeah, it's on easy, okay. And I've been playing with the sensitivity. I've been playing with the inversion. I could not find the sweet spot for this game, and like I say, Destiny was not an issue. Warframe was not an issue. Battlefield's not. None of these games I ever had an issue with.
I wonder if it's the third person view.
It may be Red Dead Redemption,
because I know that Dead Space really gave you some trouble. Although the camera was way...
Yeah.
Is the camera offset in Last of Us?
No, it's not that bad. But okay. I know that, like I say, someone brought that up. I think it was Kevin there on Facebook, on our the GameHounds there on Facebook, brought that up and said that I had problems getting off the ship in Dead Space because the guy was so far to the left. I was so off center and off kilter, I couldn't get through the door because I'm used to things being in the center. When you throw it off on the left, I couldn't do it. That wasn't the case. Like Batman Asylum, there. It's the same thing. Batman's so far to the left, I couldn't play that game either. It's just so awkward for me. And this is the same. This felt so weird. In the chat room, Richard Riles in there, and he said the turning mechanic is a little different than most, but it's not a deal breaker for him. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the mechanics are just different for this game. But I tried to play this like a normal game, and I couldn't. So then I start second guessing myself. So now instead of muscle memory, I'm thinking it, and I'm like pushing when I do the vertical. I'm like, okay, when I push up, do I want it to go up or do I want the camera to go down? And then I hit a spot where I don't know. So let me go into Warframe because I didn't want to take out the disc. Let me go into Warframe because that's loaded up, right? And I'll play Warframe and I'll see how I have that set just to kind of reorientate myself, right? Well, there's a 5 gigabyte download. Fuck me.
I was just thinking, I'm like, oh man, how was the last time you were in Warframe? Aren't you going to have an update?
It's just this is way too much work for this game, really. So I exit out of Warframe and I get off the couch and I put in Battlefield. I go into Battlefield and don't you know I cannot play Battlefield. I couldn't play it. I don't know.
Did you have a stroke or something?
I don't know. The Last of Us totally effed me up. It effed me up so bad. I inverted the Battlefield and started playing. I was like, I never invert the view. Why am I inverting the view? And then I went to Call of Duty and I did the same thing. I said, this can't be right. Maybe I did have a video game stroke. What is going on? So now I'm inverting all my controls. I said, no, this can't be happening. This one game couldn't have just caused a brain cramp this bad. So I ended up shutting everything down, and I posted my rants on Facebook and my rants on Twitter,
which took a lot of heat. Oh my God, it lit up the Twitter account.
But I mean, there I was, an hour playing this game, putting in other games, trying to figure out why I couldn't control it. And you know what it felt like almost was on Steam. When I play some of the games on Steam, I use the 360 controller for the shooters. And I think I told you I downloaded a bunch of demos this summer for the sale. One of them being Resident Evil and another one being Spec Ops: The Line. And I couldn't play either one of those on the PC with a 360 controller because they floated. That's the only way I can describe it. They weren't tight controls. Like when you moved it on the control, like left or right or up and down, it's always tight on the console. When you play that on the PC, I don't know what it is. It's not a tight turn motion or looking. It's very floaty. It's very loose. It sways a little bit. And so I didn't buy either one of those games, even though they're real cheap for Steam, because I just couldn't get the feeling of the game. It just floaty. It just was wishy-washy, whatever it was. And that's what it felt like with this game. It was just like, wow, it's not tight. It's all over the place. I go into aim. I'm over the guy's head. I'm looking at the sky. I'm like, really? I mean, it's just not my first time playing a shooter game. So I let it all set. I went to work, played a couple games of hockey, come home, and then about 1 o'clock last night I put it on and I went back to my Call of Duty and I reset all the things back to normal. And I played normal. I was like, okay, so now I can play normal again. Maybe I just needed to walk away for a while. So I get up today and I said, okay, I'm going to put it back in again. For the 4th time I've ejected this disc and put it back in and see what I can do. And I'm frigging with the controls again and tweaking the sensitivity, and it's a little better. A little better. I played today, and I got to one part where you got to go and smuggle something in or something like that. I got to that scene there, and I actually shot some guys, and it was and people.
Have you met Ellie yet?
I just got there.
Okay, so you're really early in.
Yeah, all this heartache, all this time on social media. And that's how early I am in the game. It's like, oh my God. What, again, there's some games that just don't feel good. They don't feel right. They don't play right. They don't look right to me. Not to everybody.
Right,
just
right.
My own personal preference. This did not play like 90% of the games that I'm used to playing. In like Assassin's Creed. I cannot play Assassin's Creed.
I'm rapidly coming to the conclusion that you can play first-person shooters just fine, but that you can't play story-driven third-party shooter games. Because a third-party shooter and a first-person shooter, it plays very different. And if you start running out like a first-person shooter, you kind of have to adapt. And it may be that you just don't like them and they don't work for you.
It may be. But I know that, like I say, Red Dead, I think, was third person. I didn't have any problem with Red Dead. Well, a little bit maybe, but I mean, yeah, I guess I'm more the first person guy. Maybe that's why I like Destiny so much. And I don't remember what Warframe was. I don't remember.
It's third person, but the camera is like right behind your character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so it's like a
practically it's like 1.5 person.
Maybe it has to do with like the weight to the controls, because I know that Joel in The Last of Us, he kind of feels heavy.
He does.
Like if you move the control stick and then you quickly flick it the other direction, he doesn't turn instantly. Like he kind of takes a moment to stop, turn around, and then start moving in the other direction. So that could be it.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, because I know other games kind of have that weight to the controls.
It could be the third person, because, Grand Theft Auto, like I said, that first scene, I was like, okay, I am going to have a hard time with this. And I remember, what was it? What was that crazy shooter game we just played? There was part 3 and part 4, and I like part 4, but not part 3.
4?
Oh man, I can't think. The funny game, the funny, hilarious shooter game.
Borderlands?
Saints Row?
Saints Row. Yes,
Oh.
Saints Row 4, loved it. Saints Row 3, I couldn't play it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So it just...
I'd be curious, have you played Max Payne?
I don't think I did.
I'd be curious what you think of that, because that game, at least like the first two, which are pretty old by now, like they're that like really immediate, camera right behind the character look. I forget what the third one was, but I think it was similar. I think the camera is directly behind Max all the time. So that might be an interesting test.
Yeah, it's weird. Saints Row 3, I could not play. I remember I was trying to shoot from the helicopter, and I couldn't do it, and I gave up. Saints Row 4, I played all the way through and loved it. Love Saints Row 4. Grand Theft Auto 4, I played a lot of that, had a lot of fun. Grand Theft Auto 5, I couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if they tweaked it, or maybe it's just me, maybe it's a mental block, maybe I need Chinese food.
I think I see the pattern here.
Too much MSG.
No, you can only play even-numbered games.
Oh, very good point. Very good point. Kevin Bulware has requested in the chat room, have Goalie explain the story of the game. I just want to know if you watched any cutscene.
Dude, I usually check Facebook during cutscenes.
Blasphemous.
I'm wondering how the wife's going to do. I told the wife, she's like, we got any plans? I said, yeah, I'm going to sit your ass down, and you're going to play The Last of Us, and I'm going to watch you. And she's more impatient than I am. She's one of these, she gets bored real fast with games. She's not a story-driven person at all.
Oh, then you'll because that's the whole point of this, is it's a story. Yeah. I mean, it is a devastating story.
Mine is very boring. She's going to hate it. I know she is, but we're going to get drunk tonight. I'm going to make some homemade scorpion bowls tonight, and we're going to try playing it tonight. But I did put it back in today after I get up and walked the dog and had a shower and had a coffee and, sat down today. It wasn't 1 a.m. And I tweaked it a little bit more, and it was better. I don't know what I did.
Okay. Well,
but it was better.
Keep giving it a college try, because it's worth it. It
could be a combination of me just getting used to the controls in this game, because they are different. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, again, I just played Destiny and Call of Duty and Warframe and Battlefield. All of those I played with no issue, none at all. And then this game here, I'm now thinking about what button I got to push to look up and where I got to push it to push down. It was just odd. It was odd. It just really was. It threw me for a loop. And that's why I was tweeting and hammering this on Facebook, just that it sucked and it's boring and I can't control it. And I really was. I expected to jump right into this. And I spent a good hour or so just making it playable.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another game I did. I don't know if it was the Aliens Colonial Marines or if there was another one that I...
God, did you just compare
No, I just
Last
said
of Us to Aliens Colonial?
there was another game.
Because that's nigh on blasphemy at this point. You are dancing a very dangerous line.
Lynch him.
Yeah, you hear what you
Get
want.
a rope.
There was another game, I said, and it could have been that one. And I forget if it was console or PC that I had to frig around with the controls just to make it remotely playable. And I forget which one it was. It could have been that. It could have been something else where either, you know how sometimes the camera moves too fast and you got to slow it down on the sensitivity, or sometimes it's not fast enough. There was one game I had to do that, and I was like, well, it's almost playable. But all the other games that come right out of the gate just play with default settings and no problem. And this one, no, I got to frig with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if I got it right yet. So I stopped frigging. I was like, look, I'm just going to leave it on these settings, and I either play it or I don't. But the more I frigged with the settings and cameras and inverting and outverting and perverting, it just made it worse.
Okay.
So, to be continued, folks. We're good here. Good here. How are you? How are you? Did you find the princess? Yes, good. So Last of Us. I think I tweeted out I finished Last of Us in an hour.
Wow.
What was the last game I finished in an hour? That I was done with.
God. Well, just recently you did one, didn't you?
Yeah, but then I finished in an hour. You guys realize? I says, yep, I'm done with it. I played it an hour and I'm done. Didn't finish it, but I'm done.
Right. So let's see. What did I play? Of course, the Destiny beta. Finished that up.
That sucked. That conked out right in the middle of the game for me.
Yeah, well, you know what happens. It's not like they're going to wait for you to finish up your game. Well, it's like, whoop, can't spin the beta. Goalie's still playing.
Fuck you all. Fuck you all. You and everybody in this chat room can kiss my East Coast ass. Really? Get off my shit. All of yous. I had no idea when the beta was going to end, okay? I was just playing with some friends, and all of a sudden, this thing come up and says, thanks for playing. We're offline forever. Goodbye. I had no idea.
It's not coming back.
You know, and then, hey,
Gone.
we're not going to wait for you to finish your game. Fucking dumb chicks on the show. Go color your hair. You must be bored. You for a half hour.
Wow.
Your hair Twitter blue, then you can tweet it.
Awesome. Yeah, by the way, chat room, thank you for laying the groundwork so I could push the button. Thank you so much. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the Destiny beta. Did either of you get on, I guess it was Saturday or Friday, when they had the moon mission open up?
Yeah, I did. It was Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't. I tried to get out of a family thing, and that didn't happen. Husband wouldn't let me
Did
do
you
that.
hear?
It's fine.
I don't know if this is news or if it counted playing, but did you hear about someone who went into the code of the game to see how big it is and found that it may not be anywhere near as big as we were thinking it was?
Really? No.
Yeah.
Really?
Once I was now on news.
Let's leave it up to chat room. Do you want this in news? Richard Rawls making me laugh. Do you want this in news? Do you want to talk about it now? Let's talk about it now, because there's no, why not? Let's talk about it now. What are they saying?
Okay. So, I know you were talking about this game like it's going to be this grand space opera epic.
It lent the feeling that that's what it would be.
It does. It does. So, okay, this is what I found on Reddit. I'm going to put the link in the Skype chat and also put it in the Spreaker chat. It's basically a map of the game. And it's got the moon, Earth, Venus, Reef, and Mars. Mm-hmm. And those are the 5 locations that you go to. Mm-hmm. So you only go to 5 planets in the game.
Oh.
And then of those 5 planets, there's only one, quote, destination, which is basically the old Russia that we explored in the beta is all of Earth that we'll see.
Oh, that's rather interesting.
Yeah, that makes it seem a whole hell of a lot smaller than it is. And that got me really nervous and anxious because, I mean, the way I played Destiny is I kind of blew through the story content really, really fast. And I really enjoyed how it feels. And I like going back and replaying some stuff a little bit, but not that much. Like, if the way I play it, I would mostly just play the story missions, co-op. But if it ends too soon, I don't know how much I would like to replay those areas over and over again.
I'm the same way. It's funny you would say that because it seems like they're gearing this up to be more of a Call of Duty multiplayer game than it is the big co-op experience that they were talking about in the beginning.
Yeah, like I was expecting something at least the size of Borderlands.
I was too. I really was. And now it's more like, well, you can do a lot of exploring on the maps of the missions that you just played, and I'm holding off. This is not a day one buy for me.
And on the opposite side, I purchased the $90 digital download.
Oh,
I did. The minute that the beta was over, or I went back in and I realized the beta was over, went in and bought it.
Wow.
Yep. So I know I'm going to play it. I know I'm going to play a lot of it. A lot. There's going to be no question about that.
Like Nick was saying, we played the Russia. What was there? 6 missions on the Russia map, right?
Yeah.
Earth. If there's 6 missions that we play through pretty much in a night, and then there's 6 on the moon and 6 on Mars, and that's all for co-op, that's going to be a pretty fast game.
Yeah.
And
like, I'm okay with a game that's short. I've paid full price for Mirror's Edge, and that's like a 4-hour game, and I really like that. But it's just Destiny feels bigger. Like the story, the world of it feels like it should be this really huge space epic. And so to not be that feels like it's tricking you.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely there's a certain expectation, and it may be that this whole alpha, quote unquote alpha, followed by a quote unquote beta, neither of which are an alpha or a beta. They were demos, unfinished demos, that essentially with names on them that gave Bungie a little bit of leeway when things didn't work right. But it may be that that will end up backfiring on them because there's almost an implied intention of this game at this point. There's it's like we expect it to be a certain way. We expect it to be a certain thing. We expect it to be beyond the much farther beyond because everything was named alpha and beta. We expect it to be really big. And if it's not as big as we are kind of leading ourselves to believe, then we're going to be disappointed and blame Bungie, even though it's not their fault.
I think it might also fall into the Watch Dogs trap of this is kind of really selling itself as a next-gen game. But at the same time, it's coming out on old hardware.
Right.
And it feels like it's kind of designed around those limitations.
It may be. That which begs the question, are we going to get a truly next-gen game when they are?
You have to wait for the exclusives.
Well, yeah,
okay?
Right.
Okay, next-gen game, Assassin's Creed Unity. Because it's not coming out on the old consoles.
Oh, God.
So there we go. Assassin's Creed will save the day.
You are such a whore. So
I'm not a whore. I'm very monogamous. I'm just very slutty with this one game.
Okay. It's your booty call. I got it.
Yeah. Whenever Assassin's Creed calls, I'm like, yeah, babe, I'm there in a second. I'm dropping whatever I'm doing. Destiny? Oh, nope, I'm not playing that.
That's right. Maybe if I have a spare Saturday night. Or Assassin's Creed doesn't call.
I think I'm gonna wait. I am going to wait on Destiny. I loved. Don't get me wrong. I love the beta. I love playing with it. But if the co-op is going to be really short, and basically we've played all those missions already in the beta, which might be the downside to a beta, is if the game is like you said, Edie, you expect the game to be a lot bigger than the beta. If we played 6 missions on Earth, how many missions would you expect to be in the full game for you to consider it to be a full game?
Well, how many missions? God, I don't know.
Well, if they had
if they have one planet,
we did 6 or 7 on Earth,
right? But there was Earth, so I expect there to be at least 10 planets.
And Nick said there was 3.
Yeah,
5,
right? And it may be that the next planets are going to be in the DLC, which is why I bought the.
Yeah, which is bullshit. Because if we have 6, if they're just going to say, okay, what you played in the beta on Earth with Russia, if that's Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to get that same thing on the moon, the same thing on Mars. So basically the beta was 1/3 of the co-op game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So in this leak, they say that there are 22 story missions.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, also remember, this is a leak. This is something that somebody said they broke into the code. Somebody says he broke into the code.
Yeah.
And
so it could just be that the code for the beta was really, really small.
Incomplete, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be the best case scenario.
Right. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
No way to know.
Richard Wall in the chat room was saying the leak says 35 story missions and 50 strike missions.
So, okay, what are strike missions? I never quite
Those
got
are the three-person ones. When you get the 3 people and you get a strike team and you go do the strike missions.
Okay,
yeah.
like the boss fights.
Then what is a story mission?
I think that's by yourself.
No, the story mission must have been like just the little the ones where you're just kind of exploring around, like the ones that don't have a boss. Like, it seems the strike mission is a boss fight.
Right. Okay. Well, that seems kind of weird.
I didn't know that, because that seems bigger, because the strike mission was pretty...
Right. There were 3 bosses in that. You had to get through 2 minor bosses to get to a big boss.
So I guess they'll at least have a lot of missions, but man, I kind of want to explore the universe. That would have been neat.
Yeah, I'd like to know how much bigger it is than the beta.
Well,
I guess that's what I'm going to wait for when it comes out and all the reviews come out. It's like, okay, how much bigger than the beta is it? And who was it? Kevin Bower in the chat room said, strike. So okay, what did he put here? 4 times as big as the beta.
Mm-hmm.
Now is that going to be big enough for you? I don't know.
No, probably not. But like I said, we're all speculating at this point. I will let you know. You will know because I have bought the game. And I have bought all the DLC. So you'll be the first to know as soon as I know.
But you're still going to be playing that game.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Are you kidding? I played the
shit
shit out of 6 missions.
Game, and then as soon as Nick says, you need to get this game, you go get the next game. And,
well, also, Edie's an MMO gamer.
Right.
So she's willing to play the same area over
and over again just to play with other people and do the same things. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't mind that either. I really don't. But again, I'd like to see this be a lot bigger than the beta. I mean, I was hoping the beta was a taste. I'm hoping the beta wasn't going to fill me up.
Yeah, well, also consider this: is that this is coming from your reservations are, and I'm not a Destiny whore by any means, but your reservations about Destiny come from someone who really loved Diablo 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Diablo 3 was really not it was a long game, but it wasn't a horrifically long game. But you did.
It also had multiple difficulty modes.
Yeah, and I would imagine.
It had way better loot.
Well,
it did.
It's true, but also I consider that we have not seen what the loot's going to be. I don't know. I'm very interested in building up a character and customizing a character out. I mean, it's going to be 50 levels of stuff, so I can't imagine.
I also heard that the level cap was really low.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
12 or something, wasn't it?
Really?
I heard it was 20.
Well, it makes sense if that's the case, because the all of the like high-end loot that you saw, the really badass stuff, was all at level 20. But that being said, it makes me more interested in the game, because if the level cap is 20 and that's as small as the game is, it means the DLC will likely raise level caps and be expanding the universe.
But you know what? The DLC for Borderlands raised level cap, and we got past level 20 in Borderlands.
True.
Both Borderlands.
This topic bores me. Can we move on to another game?
Diablo 3 is supposed to go up to level 70 on the new one.
Nice.
Yeah, it was at 60 before, and it used to take forever to get to 60.
Right. Yeah, I'm when is that date? I forget. It's very soon.
19th.
Yeah, it's right there. So we've got to get ready for that.
I'm so excited for that.
Richard Rawl says that's because MMOers have an obsessive compulsive disorder, Edie, i.e. Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that's just MMO people. I got every goddamn collectible in Assassin's Creed 4. And I think, Edie, as someone who played it, you can attest that there's a lot of goddamn collectibles in that game.
Yeah, there is. And
I had to clean that map.
Yes, you did. Anyway, what else did we play? I did not play any more of the whatchamacallit.
That experiment is stopped.
No, the experiment actually, I was really thinking about playing it last night, but I've been really busy because I've been writing for Examiner.com. I am their new drone reporter. Drones in San Francisco, so you can look me up, Edie Sellers, Drones in San Francisco. And so I've been spending a lot of time, especially my late nights, which is usually my gaming time, cruising the news and writing quick news stories for the end of the night. So, yeah, I sit down to, this is kind of weird, sit down to play a video game, to relax for the evening, and all of a sudden an idea comes into my head and I run over and start writing. So I abandon the video game. But that's why I didn't pick back up One Piece, which I will, because I'm actually kind of interested in it now. I'm a little more open to it. It's just starting to get good as I was playing it last week. So, A2, Nick?
I have actually not been playing a whole lot. I got really into the show called Penny Dreadful and kind of binge watched it for most of the week.
Nice.
And that's a fucking awesome show, and everyone should watch it.
I watched some of it, yeah.
Yeah, if you like gothic Victorian horror, it is so goddamn Victorian gothic.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It just oozes.
Isn't it it's like vampires, but it's not the lame vampires.
No, yeah, this is like pretty fucked up vampires and like all sorts of things. You got Frankenstein in there. You got Dorian Gray in there. You got vampires. You got Van Helsing. It's like all those literary monsters mushed together in a story that's pretty interesting. So yeah, that comes highly recommended. Other than that, so I haven't played a lot of PS4 games. I played a lot of iPhone games. I really got into this one called Tower of Fortune, which is like this RPG that you essentially play with a slot machine. And it's neat, and it's weird playing it because maybe I've just been trained so much by games to like try to strategize during a battle, but like when you fight in a battle, basically you touch the screen to start the slots, and it's a basic like 3 icon slot machine. But only the first icon matters. So like if you get a book, which will give you some XP, and then you get 2 skulls, which are enemy attacks, you'll get the XP, but the enemy won't attack. But then at the same time, if you line up 2 books and then get a skull, you'll get bonus XP because you lined up 2 of the same icon. So the first icon is what matters most. And there's like 4. There's you attack, enemy attacks, you get money, you get XP. And that's the gist of it. And there's some strategy involved with like equipment, because as you play and get more money, or every time you defeat a boss, you can choose to get a piece of equipment, and that changes kind of how much damage you can do, but also like if you attack an enemy, you will lower their defense every time you attack.
Mm-hmm.
Or like every time you're attacked, your defense will go up. So you've got these kind of stat modifiers on your equipment that can really come in handy during some of the fights. But it's just, it taps into like that kind of core fun of an RPG, of just the progression, the exploring. And it's weird when I think about how long I've been playing it, how little I'm really doing, because all I'm doing is playing a fucking slot machine. Like, that's really what it is.
Right.
And there's no strategy involved. But I find myself constantly thinking like, okay, I'm going to spin this and I need to get a sword. And if I get a sword, I'll hurt him. And, oh, I got a sword. Now I just need to get another sword so I can do more damage. And, oh, I didn't get the sword. Like, I'm trying to strategize this slot machine. And I had to completely rewire how I think about the game to, like, understand and force myself to understand, okay, I don't control shit. I'm just spinning a slot machine. There's no strategy. There's no tactics. There's nothing like that.
Did you try inverting the controls and changing the sensitivity?
I did. And you know what? The slot machines spin the other direction, but I still can't control them.
Did you put in Warframe? That might help.
I need it to update. I think it's still updating. But yeah, like it's a great game because, you know, since it's all a slot machine, you can just pop it up, hit the button a couple times, and then defeat an enemy and just kind of go on with your day. So that's pretty fun. And then I've been playing a lot of Game of Thrones Ascent, which it was a Facebook game.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of explains to you how it works. Like, you're a noble and you're trying to create your keep, you know, your little community, and raise it up. And it's got the same thing that a bunch of Facebook games do, where, you know, every hour you'll get X number of gold and you have to check back every day to bank it. Mm-hmm. And then you can use that to build other stuff, and building things takes time and all that. But what I like about it is that it is free on iOS. Mm-hmm. So I'm free to play it without any kind of, you know, financial need. And it's a good one of those games. Like, it's a genuinely good one of those games. Mm-hmm. It's neat because you do kind of intersect with the story, like the actual story. Like, at the point where I am now, I've been playing it for several hours, and the king has just gone to Winterfell, and Ned Stark, they've just killed the dire wolf, you know, from like maybe the second episode of the first season.
Right. It was Sansa's direwolf lady.
Yes.
Right.
So they just killed Lady, and I'm wondering, like, how far the story goes, because I'm just a tangent character, but I am kind of seeing all these actual things happen in the story, and I'm curious to see how far it goes, to see like how, I guess, especially when the story kind of leaves King's Landing, mm-hmm. how far like I actually get to, especially since I allied myself with the Martells. Mm-hmm. Now I'm really curious to see if the game gets to the point, you know, in season, what was it, 4, mm-hmm. when we meet Oberyn. Like, and that's kind of what is keeping me going through the game. It's a fun diversion, but I'm really interested in how it intersects with the story. And it's done so pretty effectively now. So I was spending a lot of my time with Facebook and iOS games.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, I've also played I beat One Finger Death Punch.
I have got to pick that game up. Gosh darn it.
But now I've started playing on the second difficulty level. And God, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
There was one level where like everything just clicked, and like the way it works is I've explained before. There are colored stick figures, and like the colors correspond to certain button presses, left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And at this one moment, the enemies were coming so fast, I couldn't look beneath them to see like what the combination was.
Yeah.
I just had to remember what it was by their color. And so I'm just looking at these guys coming at me from left and right, and I immediately know what combination to hit just by looking at the color. It felt like, when you're in that zone in Guitar Hero, and you're just you're not really noticing the screen anymore.
Right.
Like, it's become that kind of automatic, instinctive action.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like. It was like, oh my God, it's like I can see the universe.
I am one with the game.
I am one with it.
It's a great feeling.
I
I love that. Actually love that feeling, even though it's a little disturbing,
Yes.
but I do.
Yes. No, it's a fantastic feeling. So yeah, I'm loving the shit out of that game. Even still, like I'll go back and play it maybe an hour a week.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I've put like 9-10 hours into this 2-button action game.
I've got to pick that up. I've got
Nick, did you ever play on the PS4? And I'm trying to find the name of the game. It was that detective ghost game.
Oh, Murdered Soul Suspect?
Yeah, did you ever play that?
No, but I just saw something today that it's on sale. It's for PC, but it was like it's a humble bundle sale for Square Enix games, and Murdered is on sale for $15.
Huh.
Yeah, because I was asking, because I was looking through the new Game Informer, and they reviewed that. They gave it a bad review, actually, but it was set in Salem, Massachusetts, and that's why I was really intrigued by it.
You're going to hate it.
I just didn't know how much of Salem was actually in it, or if that was just kind of just saying it's in Salem. Could be in, Bar Harbor, Maine, for all I know,
Right.
Just didn't know.
I don't know how much it's like.
How much local flavor.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's actually modeled after it. I have no idea. I was interested in that game though, and $15, I'm really tempted to pick it up.
Do you know what I almost picked up for $15 was Angry Birds Star Wars for PS4. I was in a GameStop, I know.
Wow.
Last of Us. The girl that works at the GameStop up here, she's real nice, but she's just like way too thorough. And so if there's one person ahead of you in line, it's 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Oh, did we tell you about this? And did we tell you about that? Let me circle here. There's a survey here. And if you answer on all the survey questions, you might win $15. We're drawing one winner every 15 years for the $15 prize, And did you sign up for this? Did you sign up for that? Do you want scratch protection? Oh, you don't want scratch? That's fine. Would you like a bag, or would you like paper? Would you like plastic? I mean, lady, let's just get going here. So while you're there, you have a lot of chance to look around. And they did have Angry Birds for like $20 used. I was so tempted because I had a coupon too. I would have got it for 20% off of that. I didn't though. I just couldn't.
Couldn't bring yourself to it, huh?
And I never played the Star Wars one.
Yeah. And it makes, like, it would make any difference. It's fucking Angry Birds. Does it matter?
It's Star Wars though, Angry Birds. It's way better.
On that note, do we want to hit the news?
Sure.
Okay, let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds News. The news using commentary of the week in gaming with gamer Edie Goalie and Nick Dinicola. And the first item is I have pink hair. And the reason why I have pink hair is for Nick. I dyed my hair for Nick.
Goddamn right you did.
Shut up, you're such a dick. Wow. Never mind. Fuck you. I'm dyeing it back to brown.
I'm curious. What?
Because we're going to be at PAX in 2 weeks.
What? Wait. No, it's not 2 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
No, it's more than 3 weeks.
No.
Isn't it?
No, my friend. It's actually going to be
1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like 4 weeks because it's the 28th.
Yeah, it's the 20. Okay, you're right. It's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 weeks. My bad. So yeah, anyway, in a month, we're going to be at PAX. And I want you to be able to find me in a crowd. And according to my husband, you could see me from space. It's It's pretty, like, hilariously pink. So you can't miss me.
All right.
But in other actual real news that anybody actually cares about, anybody have something? Because I got loads.
Tell us about. I saw you commenting online about the GameStop credit card.
Oh, okay. GameStop credit card. The GameStop credit card is. This is something that Destructoid got through anonymous sources, and apparently they were able to see marketing material that GameStop is planning to roll out a new credit card that is GameStop, branded credit card. It's going to tie reportedly directly into the company's Power Up Rewards program. Now remember, these are all rumors because it was leaked to them by anonymous sources. But it's going to tie directly into the company's Power Up Rewards program. The primary incentive for signing up for it is going to be a 5,000 bonus points in their Power Up Basic for Power Up Basic members. If you're a Power Up Pro member, you'll get a bonus of 15,000 points. There's also going to be apparently exclusive offers for card holders. But I think that the most important detail about this card is that it will carry a 26.9% annual percentage rate, meaning that if you bought a game, I think I was reading this in one of the articles, if you bought a game a month for a year, it would take you would rack up something like $700 in credit card charges. Paying the minimum amount on that credit card would take you 8 years to pay off those games, and you would pay more than $900 in credit cards. It would more than double the cost of everything by paying the minimum balance at 27%.
Yeah, you want to go down and see Mr. Big?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We call that loan sharking.
Mr. Big.
The only difference between this and loan sharking is a piece of plastic. That's all it is.
And a hat.
And a hat.
One of those gangster hats.
Yeah, see, yeah. You owe us.
Money tomorrow, see? You see?
We're going to have to mess you up, give you a knuckle sandwich. Yeah, see?
See, I'm going to send my boys down. Yeah, you see?
Anyway, Power Up.
Huh? I mean, the only thing I could see is if, if you could pay it off every month, but you got some, like, smoking reward deals, maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing is the Amazon credit card I got and the Discover credit card I got, they give you some pretty decent rewards. So I don't know. They'd have to come up with something really, really smoking.
The only thing that I could see that could possibly make this more beneficial is if you were able to get more credit on you apply used games, trade-ins, to your credit card with an extra bonus. Like, say if you want to trade in the game for another game, you get like $20. But if you want to trade it in and put it towards your credit card, you get $30. Which they would never let you do. Never let you do.
Yeah.
They don't give away money. Yeah. So, anyway, Power Up Rewards members are rumored to already be approved for all of these cards. So if this happens, if it's true, and you're a Power Up member, you already have a pre-approved card waiting for you. Aren't you lucky? And while it's unknown when GameStop intends to introduce this program, the marketing materials are already printed. So Destructoid is opining that it is likely fairly soon that you'll see this roll out. But beware. That is an alarmingly high interest rate. I think the industry average for interest rates are somewhere around like 10 or 12%, 13%. Maybe you'll see 15%.
I think high teens. I really do. I if you can get a credit card under 10, you're doing real good.
Yeah.
Most are in the teens. If you start getting up around 19 to 20, that's high.
That's high.
My gas credit cards are usually, I think they're 20% or 22%.
Wow, what?
But we pay them off every month. You put $50 or $100 on and you pay it off. You don't carry on a Smoker or an Exxon card. You just don't, because that's the percentage rate. Regular credit cards, like I say, you're not going to go and spend $500 on a gas credit card. Hopefully, it's not like you're going to buy a refrigerator with your gas credit card. You don't buy games with the gas credit card. You just buy gas, so you pay that off every month.
Yep. Iruga, who actually is in the chat room over in England, he actually, when I posted it to Facebook, pointed out that there is a credit card being offered over in the UK that is something like 35% interest rate. And then he sent me a copy of the ad, and it's like, what the fuck? 35% interest rate? What the holy hell?
I know. That's ridiculous. And I heard that's what's killing Hamas is they bought all their rockets.
They bought all their rockets on their credit cards.
My friend was over in Israel for a week. I said, "Did they shoot any rockets for you over there?" Because they shot over 900 rockets at Israel while I was there. You could just see them exploding in the sky.
Mark Kornblatt mentions in the chat room, he says, and they jack you to 28% if you miss a payment, even if it's a payment to someone else. Yes, they do. Miss a payment, and you're, God, seriously, we live in such a bubble. Seriously, it's just a matter of one missed payment and we fall off the edge. And next thing you know, it's like we can't get a house. We can't get a room to rent. Right. You can't get a car anymore.
I've been with Verizon Wireless for like 15 years. And I sent them an online payment, but I didn't hit send. Like I put all my payments in. For some reason, it's a two-step process on to pay it, Right. And I must have not, because I put it in the checkbook, but I didn't hit send on the computer. And like, yeah, we're going to be shutting down your account because you missed last week's payment. I've been with you 15 years. How often have I been late or missed a payment? You're really going to shut me down?
Yeah.
Because I missed one in 15 years?
Yep.
So you're exactly right. It's insane. You got to call them up and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay, fine. Just send it to us now,
Yeah.
But the automated response from these companies, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty at all.
No.
I was so mad. I thought about switching over, but the coverage here for Verizon is just so good that I would miss the coverage. So I'm buying it for the coverage, not because I like them.
Right.
I was so pissed. Seriously, I was going to cancel that day.
Yeah.
It's like, screw you. I missed one payment in 15 years only because I didn't hit a send button, and you're going to start harassing me?
Yep. Anyway. In other better news, Bungie did release the numbers for that Destiny beta.
Ooh, what do you got?
It is, if Bungie is correct, the biggest beta, biggest beta in history for a new IP. 4.6 million people played during the beta. And that includes all the people that started on July 17th when the beta opened for PS4 and PS3, and all the people that played on 360 and Xbox One when it opened on July 22nd. The total exact number was 4,638,937. And which is kind of cool that they give us that exact number.
Beta codes, you think?
Oh, God. Are you kidding?
Well, yeah, because remember, every time someone got one, they had 3.
Yeah. No, there were that many. I mean, that was the thing. It's like, oh, does anybody want a beta code? It's like there were so many beta codes flying around. People were giving them to us. I was giving to other people, and even they were like, I don't need one now. I got it 4 more. Do you want 4 more back? Yeah. No, it was...
I was doing things I wasn't proud of to get a beta code. Just saying.
You were asking the wrong guy. You were asking the guy in the corner, see? Yeah, see?
Your soul has been stained and it will never be clean.
Yeah, you see?
Got that on your chest. Yeah, see?
Yeah, we got beta codes. Yeah, you see?
Did you open a GameStop credit card?
No, I didn't.
Anyway, yeah, to give this some perspective of 4.6 million people, the next highest beta in history for a new IP had been Titanfall, which granted was only on the 360 and the Xbox One, but it had 2 million players. So this is 3 times bigger.
What was the big beta before? I think you guys played. I don't think I played it. But there was a big beta.
There was a huge beta on PlayStation 4 for Final Fantasy 14. That was a really big beta. And it was an open beta.
Multiplayer games that have beta. I know Gears of War had a really big, 3 had a really big multiplayer focused beta.
And there was a really big beta for, was it Battlefield 3?
Yes, Battlefield 3. Oh, yes.
On the 360.
Yeah, I think I played
where
that
we
one.
would fall through the ground, which was awesome because it was a beta. It was truly a beta.
Yeah.
Where you could like essentially crawl under a rock, like literally a boulder would be on the ground. You could crawl into the boulder and then shoot people from it. It's great. Anybody else got anything?
Yes, I have a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of poor deals, or potentially poor deals, the EA has a subscription service on Xbox One.
Yeah, I was seeing something about that. Explain that.
So basically, EA has this back catalog of games called the EA Vault, or just called the Vault.
Mm-hmm.
And for $5 a month or $30 a year, you have unlimited access to the games in that vault.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, and what kind of makes this not interesting for me is that the vault has Peggle 2, Battlefield 4, Madden NFL 25, and FIFA 14. Those games were picked for this beta because this isn't like an officially released thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're sending out beta codes, to test the service. So I don't know how the service will work because there's a lot of things that can make it good, but a lot of things that can make it bad. This article on Giant Bomb suggests that the vault could have a rotating roster of games, so that there's maybe no more than 4 games available at any one time, but they'll change, maybe a month, every month like that. Essentially an EA-specific version of the PS Plus games.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be like these games are in there permanently, and over time, more games will get added to it. So it's only 4 for now, but, has more things get added to the vault. You just get a bigger collection, a bigger library of these free games.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of those could be potentially really good, but you'd have to see it at first. Because for me, as someone who's not really into sports games or Battlefield, this doesn't sound very attractive, which is weird because EA has such a massive library of games.
You'd think they would be a lot more robust than that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it makes sense on one level because those are all pretty recent games.
Right.
But I also feel like sweetening it up with a couple older games, well, yeah, it would only sweeten it up. So this could potentially be a cool idea, but it all depends on how EA handles their vault. And rather, maybe kind of sadly, Sony, this is only for Xbox One, by the way.
Huh. That's kind of odd.
And that's because Sony has put out a statement that said, we evaluated the EA Access subscription offering and decided that it does not bring the kind of value PlayStation customers have come to expect. So they're basically kind of shit-talking EA.
Yeah. That's kind of fighting words.
It would be really interesting to see how this turns out, because if it turns out to be a really good service and it's not on PlayStation, that's a real big boon for the Xbox.
Yeah, it is. But then again, if it turns out to be a really bad service, that's going to look very bad for Xbox. Or make PlayStation look really good. That it's like, yeah, we're not putting crap on our console just because it's there.
Yeah.
See, we're in the gamers' corner. We're all about gaming, and we're here for
interesting
you.
turn of events. But what I at least like is that EA is like trying something weird and different, because the whole idea of you pay $60 to get a game is changing. I mean, there's so many free-to-play games. I mean, I'm playing a free-to-play game on the iOS. I still want to play Warframe on PlayStation. Like, the whole model is kind of weird and changing, and it's nice to see one of the biggest publishers experiment.
Yeah, jumping onto a different way of doing stuff.
Because Activision is so firmly set in like the buy $60 model, which for good reason, they've had good success with that, but they're never going to do anything different. So it's good to see EA just kind of go crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I saw nothing. I saw a lot of people that saw that program and were like, meh, does not seem very interesting to me. But they might open it up a little bit more later. We'll see. It's definitely something we're going to watch carefully.
I mean, it's got 4 games that you're either kind of into or not.
And if you're into them, you're excited. And if you're not into them, you're like, why not for me? Which is kind of where you want to be.
The thing is, if you're into them, you probably already have them.
Yeah. Richard Wallace say, Edie, if you can, please comment quickly on your latest forays into Final Fantasy XIV. I haven't actually picked up Final Fantasy XIV in about 2 or 3 weeks because of the Destiny beta. So you will hear more about it later. Actually, it's probably going to be something I'm going to pick up this week because I miss it. So my latest forays into Final Fantasy XIV are not forays at all at the moment. Next item I've got is PS4 has an update. I don't know if you saw that last night.
Yes, I did see that.
Okay, so in this update, you're going to have 3D Blu-ray support, which I don't really care about, but they did promise it was going to happen. It's now happened. Xbox One's going to get this same feature, the 3D Blu-ray support, next month when it has its update. So Xbox is going to mirror that, or PlayStation's going to mirrors Xbox already. And then also in this PS4 update, you're going to be able to automatically download featured content from PlayStation Store, which includes, like, you'll see demos and time-limited trials and free content. Those you will be able to automatically download as well. Because you can automatically download your purchases. This is free content you can download. And then finally, the system messages, you see them come up on the top right of your screen. They're actually moving. They're moving next door to the top left of your screen.
Yeah, on the left, yeah. They were last night.
Okay, yeah. So then you've already had the update. Yes, that's where they're going to be.
Tell me so. When the PlayStation 4 first came out, it obviously plays Blu-rays.
Uh-huh.
Or it didn't, or it was going to come up in the update or something like that.
Yeah.
I tried playing a Blu-ray on the wife's TV that she plays on. She's got the newer TV, the 1080p, the whole bit. And I put it in a Blu-ray, and it was okay. On the TV, we have a Netflix streaming service, and we were watching what do they call it? Super HD on Netflix, and it was unbelievable. So why is the PlayStation 4 Blu-ray not as good as the Netflix streaming HD?
What did you watch? Maybe
it was
the transfer wasn't very good.
Maybe.
That's entirely possible.
I forget what I put in, and maybe it was an older one. But it's just, you expect, like, Blu-ray, it's the best, it's eye-popping, the whole bit. I got the new TV, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I knew they said that one of the updates was going to address give better Blu-ray or something like that. I remember it wasn't this update, it was the one before. But I didn't know if anybody had noticed that.
And also consider that not all Blu-ray is the same. It's kind of like saying THX. Well, it's supposed to sound great. It's the THX or it's Dolby. It's really only as good as the person who did the shooting, did the recording and did the mixing. Same thing with the movie itself. It may not have been that the movie was that well shot. There may have not done as good a job. That's what cinematographers are supposed to do. So, it could be that there's other issues that are making movies look different from each other.
Maybe. Yeah, in the chat room, Kevin Bo, no, I was not watching Netflix through PS4. I was watching Netflix on the smart TV. I think it was a Panasonic Plasma TV, but it had the Netflix app. And a lot of the newer movies have Super HD. And it's just Wi-Fi. And, boy, it's the best TV I've ever seen is this streaming Netflix Super HD. Better than the Blu-ray. I've been putting in Blu-ray discs from time to time. Nothing compares to the Super HD I've seen on Netflix. Nothing. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the Blu-rays that I have. Maybe I have older movies, or like I said, maybe they didn't transfer good. Maybe I need the Super Deluxe Edition. When you think Blu-ray, you think, ooh, wow. I've had to be blown away by a Blu-ray. To tell you the truth. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to invert the controls on the Blu-ray. Maybe that'll help. Maybe.
Yeah, that'll improve the graphics.
I'm just having issues. Maybe it's my PlayStation. Maybe I got a bad.
You got a stroke.
It's not funny.
Not funny, Freddie. It's not funny. So, anybody else? I don't. Nick.
Yeah. So there was a lot of kind of bad stuff going down with Crytek. Remember from a few weeks ago?
Right.
Apparently, they've paid people, and they say they're in good hands. But they've also sold the rights to Homefront.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. That was one of mine. I was going to say that it's good news and bad news for Goalie. Sorry, good news and better news for Goalie. Good news is that there's going to be a sequel for Homefront. Better news is it's not going to be by Crytek. It's going to be by somebody else.
By Deep Silver.
Yeah. Which I think is an interesting purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah? You don't agree with me?
Well, I mean, Deep Silver, the only games they've made, like that developer, is the Dead Island stuff.
No. And Saints Row.
No, they bought like they didn't they like buy did they just buy the rights to that? Or did they buy the studio?
That's a good question.
I think they bought the rights, but I mean that game was pretty far along when they got it.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know how good Deep Silver is at making a straight up shooter.
Yeah.
Like at least Crytek, they had their like niche, and they made shooters. I never really liked the Crysis games, but at least they felt good to play. They were good shooters. I don't know how Deep Silver will do.
It's a good question. Well, bottom line is that you are going to see, and remember that they're just the publisher. They're not the developer.
No, Deep Silver is the developer.
No, Deep Silver is the publisher. Let's see. Where do I have here? The game's now to be completed by a newly founded Nottingham. Oh, it's actually, I take that back. Yes, the publisher bought the rights, and they are going to do it at their Deep Silver offices in Nottingham, the Dam Buster studio. So yeah, I guess they are the developer and the publisher. Also, keep in mind of this. Homefront is kind of a cursed game.
It is for me.
Yeah, but it's actually a much bigger curse, and I didn't realize this until I was reading it in Joystick. Wherever Homefront has gone, it has either gone to very bad studios in really bad shape already, or has left a trail of despair and tears behind it.
You're right. Like THQ, Crytek.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God.
It originally was developed by Chaos Studios, which is now dead, and the publisher was THQ, which is now dead, and then it was purchased by Crytek, which is on the verge of death, for $500,000, and given to Crytek UK, which was formerly Free Radical, which was also a studio that had a bunch of problems. So you're looking at essentially a cursed game. So this game may actually kill Deep Silver.
Well, I hope they get Dying Light out first, because I'm actually looking forward to that game.
So yeah. So we'll watch the Homefront Death March to see if it claims another victim.
That does suck. Just everywhere it goes.
Everywhere it goes.
I know. Wow.
It's like what was that story over in Egypt where there was a cursed like statue or something that they dug out of one of the crypts, and everybody that got near it died.
That was King Tut's tomb.
No.
Yeah.
And it ended up on the Titanic.
Really? I don't know this story. That sounds like I call Shens. On that.
Hey, I'm not making this up.
Okay.
This is a story that I heard, that there was a some kind of idol or statue or mummy. Everybody around it either got sick or died, and it was put on the Titanic to come over to America, and it went down with the ship. You can Google it. Maybe it's just a story.
All right. Somebody Google that. I don't believe it.
Titanic curse, fact or fiction.
This is not Goalie making something. This is a story I actually heard. Maybe it was on Art Bell or something like that.
Oh, well then that will make it true. Jesus Christ, he's worse than the internet.
An add to the show here.
Anyway, all right. While Nick is looking that up, Trials Fusion has DLC out now. I know that's going to be huge in the chat room because I know a bunch of you Trials Fusion fans.
I was playing that the other day.
Yeah. How do you like it?
It's really hard now because it's on to the point where you got to start doing tricks.
Yeah.
And the course is hard enough just to get through without crashing and dying. But when you got to start doing all the tricks, I'm lost. I'm just not into that. That's like I said, the whole motocross bike thing I'm not into. The first few were good because you were just racing and, the first the 2 chapters were really good. It's getting real, like Nick said, this game gets really complex really fast. And so if the DLC is more like the earlier chapters, I would like it. But if it's going to be all the hoo-ha and jumping off the bike and doing twists and turns in mid-air, then it's not for me.
Mark Kornblatt has pointed out that you may be thinking about the Brady Bunch in Hawaii curse when you talk about that.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, it's the tiki curse. The curse of the tiki. Peter, put that down. Peter was the one that got it, right? Was it?
It almost hit him on the Greg had this tarantula on him, and the thing fell off the wall and almost got the kids.
Right. No, but who grabbed the tiki? Was it Peter or was it? Let's see, what was it? It was Greg, Peter, and what was the longest ones?
Bobby.
Was it Bobby that grabbed the tiki?
I think so.
Okay, makes sense. It would be because I don't think Peter was that smart. Yes, I said it. Peter was a bimbo.
Oh, wait, did this
Anyway, Trials Fusion DLC. It's called Riders of the Rustlands. It's got layouts that are made of rusting metal, abandoned buildings, and other structures. It's got 6 new classic trial tracks, 2 supercross levels, 1 skill game, and 1 FMX track. And it's got another 18 new track challenges. It's free with a season pass, or it's $4.99 without. And I see that just killed the show.
I don't know.
Nick, are you still looking up that curse?
Yes, there's like a whole story around this.
And
It's a genuine story. It's not true.
It's a genuine story that's not true.
But it was like something made up by these 2 like explorers. But okay, this is awesome though.
Okay.
So like it's long, so I'm just gonna give you like the good parts.
Yes,
like,
give me the short version.
They got it out like when they found the coffin and stuff. Like 3 guys were shot by an Egyptian servant somehow, and 1 guy had to get his arm amputated. So right from the beginning, it was cursed. They took it to England, and when I forget where they took it, but whatever. They realized, okay, this shit is haunted. They couldn't exorcise what was the curse. So they're like, some guy, I don't know, in wherever the Titanic was going, some guy was going to pay money for it. So like, okay, put it on this boat and ship it.
Uh-huh.
So they put on the Titanic, shipped out, Titanic sunk. But some accounts of the story go on to say that the American collector bribed the crew of the Titanic to put the mummy in a lifeboat and was smuggled on board the Carpathia when she picked up the Titanic survivors.
Ooh,
Then
thickens.
Then, in America, the mummy continued to bring tragedy. So it was shipped back to Europe on the Empress of Ireland, which then sank with the loss of 840 passengers in 1912.
Pretty much. And then it was on that Malaysian Airlines aircraft.
Wait.
And then it ended up...
No! Yes! Okay, all right. So, I can't believe I'm laughing about a plane crash, but go ahead.
Somehow the mummy was saved again.
Uh-huh.
The collector decided to ship the coffin back to Egypt on a 3rd ship, the Lusitania, which was torpedoed by a German submarine. What happened after that is not known.
It ended up in the offices of the Homefront team.
Yes, it did.
And the deal is, if you buy the rights to Homefront,
you get the mummy.
Mummy statue with you.
So yeah, this is the mummy of the Princess of Amun-Ra.
I told you I wasn't kidding.
No, this is awesome. This is fantastic.
Oh, there's a Will Ferrell movie in there. There really is. So anyway, what's after the Lusitania that it's disappeared and no one knows where it is?
Yeah, that's when the story ends so far.
Oh. Mark
Although,
Kornblatt
you
says,
know what? I think it probably did end up on one of those Malaysia flights.
Mark Kornblatt says, look what it did to Brendan Fraser's career.
Hey, man, those 2 Mummy movies were like the best movies he ever made.
That's not true.
Oh.
That's not true.
What? Name me something better.
Gods and Monsters was awesome.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's art. It's an art film. So good. So good you won't recognize Brendan Fraser. By a long shot.
The 3rd Mummy movie was horrible and god-awful, but the first 2 were fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. I will fight you if you say those things are bad. I will
cut you, bitch.
Bring it on. I will cut you, bitch. Cut your nose off. You think Thursday Nick is bad? Wait till you see Friday Nick.
Friday Nick, who's had the Mummy 1 and 2 impugned.
Mummy Nick.
Yeah. Friday Nick will fuck shit up.
Anyway, do you have anything else?
Do I?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. The Sony put out the PS Plus free games for August.
Yeah, I saw that. What? Yeah, go ahead and give those.
So for PS4, there'll be this indie roguelike called Road Not Taken. I've never heard of that before, so
neither have I.
I'm kind of curious about it. And for PS4, we get Fez.
Yes, I saw that.
Which was one of the best games ever. I love Fez, so that's cool. Fez was amazing. PS3 people will get Crysis 3, speaking of Crytek.
Mm-hmm.
And PS Vita will get Lego Harry Potter, years 5 through 7.
And Games with Gold, apparently, and I'm looking at Anantech, so I'm relying upon them. Crimson Dragon, the Xbox One.
Okay.
It's a $20 game. Strike Suit Zero, Director's Cut.
That was great. I finished that. I haven't gone back to it, but I really liked that game. That was a good space flying game.
Let's see. Available August 1st through 15th is going to be Motocross Madness.
Motocross Madness.
And the 16th through 31st is going to be Dishonored.
That's good.
Yeah. And it was only out in 2012, so they're catching up. They've run out of chicken plates and ice cream makers to regift us, so now they're having to get into the good stuff.
Yeah, but if you hadn't played it, that is a genuinely good thing to add to the back catalog.
Yeah. And I never played Dishonored, so actually that might be worth it for me to.
It's a lot like
back.
Thief.
Yeah, except it's a good version of Thief.
Oh, okay. If it's a good version of Thief, then I'm on it.
Think if Thief was like really fun. I know that's hard, but like if Thief was really fun and really good, yeah, that'd be Dishonored.
Okay. All right. I'll pick it up.
They don't go together, Nick.
Look, good and Thief.
Not with a mummy curse. Or with a mummy curse. Not, I forget. PlayStation Now beta begins tomorrow in North America.
Oh.
That up on GameHounds.
Do you have to pay for that beta, or is it free? Do you have to like order it and then bid in?
I thought it was
a
per game thing.
Okay.
We'll have to check that out.
Either way, I am in no way interested in that. The prices on those are just alarming.
I wonder if they adjusted the prices since the first.
Be interesting to see, because I mean it was universally reviled. When they announced it, it pretty much made news all over the place.
It starts off with 100 games.
That's not bad.
It depends what they are, I guess. I mean,
which 100 games?
Yeah, and I guess it all depends too. Because if there's something that I wanted to play that I never got to play because I didn't have a PS3, and I could play it for a weekend for a few bucks. If it's the same price as like a Redbox rental, it might not be that terrible. If you compare it to Redbox. But like they were saying, and you know, you guys brought up on the show, I think it was last week or the week before, is that you could actually buy the game used cheaper than renting it here for a week or so or a month on the PS Now. So yeah, the prices are way out of whack with the market.
Yep, and
that could just be a beta. Hopefully they fix that.
We'll see it. Like I said, they've had enough time to recognize that the market pretty much said this was a terrible idea. Nobody was going to buy it if they're smart. And Sony now seems to be pretty smart when it comes to listening to what the market wants. They've dropped their prices. So we may be pleasantly surprised when it comes out.
I hope so. They seem to learn.
Yep. In other news, did you hear, well, the biggest news that I thought came out of Comic-Con is that they announced last year that there would be a Firefly game coming out based on, the Firefly series by Joss Whedon. That was last year's. This year's announcement is that the entire cast of the original Firefly show is going to be playable on the Firefly game.
That seems impossible for one very specific reason.
Well, except for Ron Glass being dead.
I don't want to spoil it.
That part, yeah. That part might have something to do with it, but yes. But I think that everybody who's living on the cast, that's Ron Glass
really
playing Shepherd Book. But yeah, I think
right, yeah.
So, he's important, but not. But you could still have a game without him. Everybody else seems to be in fine health.
Well, that's right. He also died, though.
Who?
Shepherd.
Shepherd Book is Ron Glass.
Oh.
Ron Glass is the actor who played Shepherd Book. Who else died?
Oh yeah. Wash.
Oh well, Wash died, and not Alan Tudyk didn't die. The actor didn't die.
No,
but the character did. Yes.
That's what. Wait,
hold on a second. Is Ron Glass dead? I assumed Ron.
I don't know.
I thought
I'm
Ron.
so confused.
I know. I thought Ron Glass was dead. So maybe I'm wrong because I have very consistently made a horrible error in the last 3 weeks. I called it Playola instead of Payola. I said that Sarah Jessica Parker was in War Games. It wasn't. It was Ali Sheedy.
I actually like that Playola. I thought you were being cute. Like, it's not Payola because it's games. It's Playola.
Yeah, I don't know where I got. Ron Glass is.
I'll give you credit for that one. That was
all right. Yeah, but no, it was Playola. I thought it was Playola. It is. Ron Glass is alive. Okay, so Ron Glass is alive. So you can have the complete cast with the exception of it may be a prequel. You don't know. It could have happened before Wash dies.
I know they continued that story in comics too, so it'll be interesting to see like kind of how they wrap around that. So, by the way, I don't know if this is like a free to play. If it is, I'll totally be down for checking it out.
All right, yeah. Ron Glass is I know Ron Glass is alive. I don't know why I thought Ron Glass was dead. Maybe it's the Abe Vigoda death curse. It was the Mummy. Maybe it was the Abe Vigoda thing that had just kind of gone through him. We're slowly moving through the cast of Barney Miller, declaring each of them dead. But yeah, Ron Glass is alive. And so everybody who is a cast member is alive. We could theoretically do this. And it's it was an interesting thing that it occurred to me that video games kind of are the natural evolution for many of these big television shows, especially cult television shows where they've got canceled before their time and they still have a big following. It's because if you try to do, everybody wants, not everybody, a lot of people want a Firefly remake to start it back up, but you couldn't possibly do it because nobody looks the same. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what's his name?
Nathan Fillion.
I love Nathan Fillion. Seriously, I would leave my husband for Nathan Fillion. For a night. I would leave my husband and everything I own for a night with Nathan Fillion. That being said, Nathan Fillion has put on a few pounds over the years. He could not be that same person, and couldn't fill that same role. So there's a lot of stuff that you couldn't possibly make into a remake visually on like film or television, but they sound the same. video games will always let them live on in their perpetual youth and svelteness. So you don't have to worry about that stuff. So it's actually a perfect solution for the Firefly problem. You can always get them there. And all those guys could use the work. Everybody.
Well, I don't know. Nathan Fillion's got a sweet gig.
Yeah, and have you watched that show?
Yeah, I like that show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such pablum. Oh my god, it is so cookie cutter. Oh my god, it's Rizzoli and Isles and Abe, and it's horrible. It's exactly like every
I like
other
that show
show.
Because there are times when the good episodes are when it doesn't take itself seriously at all. When it's like them investigating a zombie or something like that, or ghosts, or some wacky crazy death.
Yeah.
That's when it's good, because it's like a cop procedural show that doesn't give it. It's like a parody of cop procedural dramas.
That's true. I could give it that. But even so,
I don't like the serious episodes.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't take itself nearly as it takes itself way too seriously if it's a parody.
Yeah. Those good episodes and those serious episodes.
Right.
But man, come on. It's Nathan Fillion. It's hard not to watch him and smile.
Mark Hornblatt says Firefly Next Generation, Firefly Babies. Firefly Children of Jane.
When you say Firefly Babies, I imagine literal babies, like, in the role.
That would be awesome. I would watch that. Totally watch that. Anyway. Kevin Bulwer says, doesn't matter. The remake would get shown out of order and delayed weeks at a time.
That's true. The mummy's tomb would appear on set.
Yep. All right. So anybody else news? Goalie, did you bring anything?
I just brought a couple of really big stories to the show.
What?
But,
what?
You guys dumping on them, and
what?
I provided the fodder, and I was the
what? Wait a minute, hold on a second.
step-
But what story did you bring? What news article did you bring?
I brought stories. I don't bring news. I bring real life stories to this show. Is what I do. I bring the quality. You guys just bring
culture.
The
Okay. Yes, you're right. You're right. I agree. You class this place up. If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead.
It would be full of mummies. That's what we would be. And loan sharks.
Yeah.
See? Something's going to pay, you see? You guys bring the
What does it mean to be full of mummies? Like, what exactly are the mummies doing to fill you up?
The curse in the show.
Well, I'll just say that it involves your head, neck, and chest.
Head, neck, and chest.
Oh, that's such. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, did you see the Kevin Smith at Comic-Con talking about the stuff he's not supposed to be talking about with being on set for the new Star Wars film? Hilarious. No. Look it up. It's long because he's totally rambling and may or may not be stoned. Hilarious story.
I did see the leak of Batman and Superman stuff.
Yeah. And then there's what's the new one? Deadpool leak of some Deadpool footage.
I kind of don't like Deadpool.
I'm not a huge fan myself, not going to lie. But
kind of annoying.
It's out there.
I did hear they're thinking about making Godzilla 2.
They are going to make Godzilla.
I think
2.
that was
There's
going.
no
I think they
thinking about
knew
it.
that.
It's going to have motherfucking Mothra and Ghidra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster X. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's like a long way off because the director's going to make a goddamn Star Wars movie first. Fucking
Okay.
Star Wars.
Is it going to be? Is it J.J. Abrams going to direct it?
No, it's Gareth Edwards. He's making one of the spin-off Star Wars movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So-
no, they're that Star Wars is gonna suck. Can I just say that?
No,
It is.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm disclaimer. I know absolutely nothing. I know less than nothing. Truly, honestly, I know nothing other than what is out there in the news. But I've heard, like, if you listen to that Kevin Smith thing, I've heard that this is going to be the Star Wars that you wanted it to be. That is what I've heard.
Perfectly entertaining because J.J. Abrams he's a good director.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you think of his writing, the guy knows how to make an action scene.
Right. And I think that, honestly, this has more of a chance of being as the Star Wars that you want it to be than episodes 1, 2, and 3 did. Because George Lucas is really not involved with the script writing. He's not the 800-pound gorilla that nobody can say no to, which is why the first 3 episodes, 4, 5, and 6, or I should say A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, those were really good because he did have someone to say no. And that was his wife, who he subsequently divorced between 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, and 3. So now you have a Disney employees working on this. You have script writers who are not, there's no one person that is a monolithic, it's what I say, how I say it, and everybody's afraid to contradict or suggest it's a bad idea. So this is going to be an actually good movie because it's going to have third-party eyes on it that actually have the ability to say, nah, not such a good idea, or this scene doesn't work. I think it's going to be a good film.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see on that.
Kind of like the Marvel movies. If you're liking the Marvel movies, and I have yet to hear somebody go, oh man, that thing's fucking awful. Oh my God, it's terrible. None of those things are sucking. There are varying degrees of awesome from, wow, that's really good to, oh my God, that's blowing my head off. And so these are the people that are writing this Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'd be good. You know what they needed to do is they needed to look at some of the books that were written and make movies from the books. They were so good. I must have read 20 or 25 Star Wars books. This is going back 10 years.
The fiction?
Yeah, they were so good. The Courtship of Princess Leia, and that was an awesome book and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we needed more of that.
Yep. Does Jar Jar die? One could only hope. I will say this. Kevin is working on a DVD version in Hindi right now. And if you ever get a chance to see Star Wars, the first 3 episodes, any of them which are containing Jar Jar in Hindi, it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, Jar Jar in Hindi. He'll fire that up. He'll come to a Jar Jar scene, and I'm just in the other room just laughing my ass off because it's so funny. Yeah, Jar Jar in Hindi is even better than Jar Jar in English. Probably actually would have been improved. Would have been improved considerably if he spoke in Hindi. So anything else before we close up shop
here? Just as an
here?
interesting little thing. To celebrate the launch of Last of Us Remastered, Sony put on like this Last of Us One Night live show.
Oh, yeah.
And they recorded it on YouTube.
I saw some of that.
And it's basically like weird. It's like a Q&A. It's a concert, and it's like a live stage performance of some of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like a Last of Us variety show.
Right.
But it's an hour long.
Starring Donnie and Marie.
On YouTube. Yes, starring Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check that out.
I had a hard time.
If you like Last of Us.
I had a hard time getting the volume to work on that.
Goalie's not invited.
It wouldn't work for me.
By the way, we had a bunch of people in the chat room request that when you fire up Last of Us again, to please stream it.
I might stream Last of Us after this. I got some work to do real quick, but maybe in like a half hour.
Iruga says J.J. Abrams already made an awesome Star Wars movie. It was called Star Trek.
No, Star Trek is not real. I do not like Star Trek.
I love
No.
I love Star Trek. I do. It's awesome.
The old ones from the 60s and 70s were okay because they're really cheesy, but I never get into that. Stargate was real good.
I love. The original Stargate was awesome.
I never saw that.
Really? Go look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of probably the effects are fairly cheesy now, by our standards. But if you can, pull up the original Stargate, because it just went on too long. It jumped the shark and then just
I don't know.
buried itself.
They went on
Wait, you mean the movie or the show?
the series.
The series.
Oh,
They said that
Oh.
that was one of the longest running series was Stargate. It did
Yeah.
about 10 years.
Well, that's because they had Stargate, like The Next Generation and Mark Cornblatt says Stargate
Stargate
Babies, and then there was Stargate this, that, and the other.
And it's like Stargate SG-1 I didn't watch, but the original, the first 10 years were really good.
Yeah.
They just, some of them were just, but I mean, a lot of the episodes were really good, and they loosely tied into each other for an overall story, which was kind of neat too. But just how they explored planets and the things they came across and the things they did, and the best one was the time travel one when they're in the time loop and only O'Neill and Teal'c knew in the time loop.
Right.
When that was hilarious. They were trying to convince everybody else it was called Groundhog Day. that was a really good episode.
Yep.
So yeah, Stargate was the best.
Yep.
Was the best.
There's a lot of things that have happened in tech since that remind me of things that I first saw on Stargate. Just really cool stuff. So especially with robotics. So you should pick up Stargate. Pick up Stargate.
I'll just wait for the movie remake.
It's not there's no movie remake. Just go watch the series. It's kind of like Firefly. There is none. Go watch the original series, and when the original series kind of starts to get stupid after about 3 or 4 years worth, 3 or 4 seasons, stop watching it. Just stop, because at a certain point it just gets incredibly dumb when they start losing their original cast. And MacGyver's in it, and he's awesome. So
I liked it.
Yep.
I still do like it.
So, anything else before we close out this show? Any other little items rolling around? No?
No.
No.
I finally tapped you out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, feeling good.
I'm hot. It's hot over here.
It's perfect here.
I'm hot. I'm like
It's
I'm
perfect.
on fire.
No, it's perfect in California. You should come visit. All right. So let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 273. We recorded this on July 30th, 2014. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Holy Goalie and Nick Dinicola. Ways to get a hold of us are our email.
You a pirate?
It's our email. Yeah, see? Our email. It's gamehounds@gmail.com. See? There's also our website, gamehounds.net. And on top of that, you can go to our Facebook page. Go to our Facebook page and like it. The reason why? You will get updates throughout the day, through the whole week from Piss Boy, of the most important and interesting stories from the gaming news world. That Facebook, look up The Gamehounds. You will find us. Go ahead and like us. We would love you to do that, mostly for you, so you get the news. You can also contact us through our chat and voicemail line. Our chat and voicemail line is...
Yeah, see, it's 304-300-9889, you see?
And if you have not listened to us on Spreaker and joined us live in the chat room with Steve Ortegon, who is Piss Boy, AC Wraith, Mark Cornblatt, Iruga from over in the UK, Jaeger, anybody else, Kevin Bulware. If I did not mention your name, I'm sorry, just because I can't scroll back fast enough. You can join us live every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and you can join us live in the chat room through Spreaker. And if you are one of our listeners on iHeartRadio, please let us know. We're trying to decide if we want to stay on iHeartRadio. So send us an email at gamehounds@gmail.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, or just, send us a voicemail or smoke signals or whatever, but let us know that you're listening through iHeartRadio. We're trying to evaluate the situation, get a good sense of it, see if you've discovered us through iHeartRadio, if you've listened to us before and you're just choosing iHeartRadio. So, love to hear from you about that, and would love to have you leave some feedback for us. If you listen on iTunes, please leave us feedback. It's good for us, it's good for you, it's good for others. Nick Goalie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Okay.
And we will see you all next week, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. See you later, everyone. Goodbye.